Hello and welcome to Fearless DIY Music. My name is Tristan Lass, and today I want to talk about a couple of old school Digitech high gain distortion pedals that I have in my collection. A lot of times people think that to get really good high gain distortion you need extreme volume given by an amplifier that is designed to have crazy amounts of gain in the amplifier itself. However, I find that these two pedals can replicate those kind of tones very easily and on a very, very lean budget. I bought each of these pedals for $50 or less. I'm sure that now on the used market you can find them still on places like Reverb and in your local music go-round or other, store in your area that may have used pedals available for purchase. You'll find these all over the place for hardly any money. I think that they do the job. I love engaging these pedals just in my regular setup because all of a sudden it just transforms everything. It's kind of crazy. So anyway, the two pedals are, we've got the Digitech Metal Master, which is part of the X series pedals, and then we've got the Digitech Death Metal, which is where we're going to start. It's a very simple pedal. There is no gain control whatsoever, but there is a 3-band EQ, so we've got low, mids, and highs. We're going to go ahead and mess around with this pedal a little bit and see what it does, and then we'll hop over and check out the Metal Master as well. Here's what my clean tone sounds like. Nothing there. It's just very, very dry. No reverb. I'm going into my Acoustic Control Core 117 solid state amplifier. So let's go ahead and engage the Death Metal pedal and see what happens. As you can tell, we got lots of background noise. There is no gain control. You are on stun the whole way through. Let's take a listen to this. And that'll keep going and going. There's quite a bit of sustain there. Let's do a little bit of single note stuff for fun. And once again, those notes will just keep ringing forever. I find that these pedals are handy in the studio for doing a solo rather than using like a fuzz or a bunch of other pedals stacked into each other to get lots and lots of sustain. These are sustain monsters. They're sustain machines. So now let's go ahead and explore the EQ a little bit. So we'll just, chunk it a little bit. Let's see what this low control does here. If we take that out, sounds a bit like a transistor radio. Let's go ahead and turn it up a little bit, more to the 2 o'clock position. That really adds a lot of bottom to it. Very powerful control. We turn that all the way up. That's crazy. So you can get a lot of beef out of that. Let's take our mids control and turn it all the way down. And we can compensate for that with a little bit more volume. So that's scooped mids. We'll go ahead and lower that level control again. Put it up a little bit higher in the mids. And you can see there's a lot of range in that mids control. Now let's pop our highs out. And then we had them at noon to begin with, and now we'll crank them up. So, as you can hear, this pedal has a lot of tonal possibilities. You can mix and match, get all sorts of cool. You can scoop the mids, you can boost the mids. The EQ section on this pedal is very powerful, and it's just like I said, just straight up high gain goodness all the way through. All right, the Metal Master is set up a little bit differently. Now what we have here is we have a pedal that has the level control, and then a low and a high, and then the morph. And the morph kind of like, the idea behind that in the entire X series of the Digitech, the Digitech X series pedals is that that's kind of a modeling section where it goes from like, oh, it would be kind of like this particular amp in this setting, and then as you sweep it, then it changes tones completely. So it's kind of like a little, signal processing matrix that's on board. Super cool. And then we have our lows and our highs. So right now I've got the lows and the highs and the morph in just the noon position. So let's go ahead and take a listen to what it sounds like there. Dare I say, the Metal Master almost sounds a little bit milder than the death metal pedal. But let's go ahead and hit that morph up and see what happens. We're going to go ahead and take it and let's turn it all the way to the left. So right there you can hear it's very compressed. It sounds nasally. Now when we move that up to, let's say, 10 o'clock. Now we're getting a little bit more robust. We've already heard noon. Let's go to 3 o'clock. And that's usually where I have mine set. And then if we take it all the way up, all right, I kind of like it at around that 3 o'clock to 2 o'clock setting the best. We're going to leave it there. And now let's check out what our tone controls can do. So that's with the lows taken all the way out. Lows all the way up. And I'm going to put that around 1 o'clock. I like that. Let's take the highs out. It's probably going to be predictably kind of nasty. I don't like that. Let's bring them back in a little bit. Ah, there we go. Let's boost the highs, see what we get. Highs all the way up. And there you have it. These pedals are just a lot of fun to mess around with. I find that, you know, if I want to get like a metal sound on a track, these pedals will do it for me. If I wanted to go and play high gain distortion out and about, if I throw one of these pedals onto my board, turn my amp up, and use a humbucking pickup like I'm using on this old PV Tracer of mine, I'm gonna get those kind of tones. So anyway, these are sleeper pedals, I think. These are pedals you should check out. It costs near, you know, they're like 50 bucks on the used market. You lose nothing by trying one of these pedals. They're fun, and like I said, they actually are a valuable tool for that kind of, you know, like muted picking thing if you're going to be doing that on a track, or if you have a song that calls for it, and then once again to get all that sustain in your lead work. All right, well, if you watched the video to this point, I'd appreciate a like and a subscribe. Shares are also greatly appreciated, and leave something in the comments. Have you ever played these pedals? Do you have a pedal like them? There's all kinds of high gain metal pedals out there from the distant past that are just begging to be plugged in and played. All right, hit subscribe, you take care, and we'll see you next time.